You're just making trad wife porn for right-wingers. That is one hell of a combination of words right there, and one heck of an accusation as well to levy against a fully clothed woman of appropriate romanceable age, as this is Amelia, one of the 3 romanceable female characters featured in the upcoming video game Knight's Path. And boy, the definition of the word porn has evolved quite drastically since my own early days on the internet, as, well, fully clothed female characters that are, if anything, extremely modestly dressed wasn't quite the definition that I grew up with, but then again, she does have bare feet, which I suppose is all you really need to be the purest form of Goon Slop in this day and age. Drawing as well further accusations such as, this game genuinely looks like a porn game on Steam, that's $10. Okie dokie then. And furthermore, artist's poorly disguised fetish. You got me. My poorly disguised fetish is regular adult women. And, well, you know, that is actually literally the accusation being levied against Knight's Path here. Just a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a similar example of this, coming from the indie animation PLANETRONIKA and one of its poster girl characters, Butterfly. In that video, we went over in a lot more specific detail why this is happening, and the reasoning behind it, and why the left appears to think that just females in general and having a relationship to them is pornographic. So if you want more of the specific details, do go and watch that video. But for now, this continues for quite some time. The original post to this had 1.6 million views at the time of recording and 759 comments. A disturbing number of which is things like this. Where did a peasant girl find strip lashes, lip gloss, highlighter, and blush? You people cannot be serious. Historically accurate, my ass. Well, first and foremost, there was actually makeup back in the Middle Ages as well, but historically accurate. You're fighting dragons in this game. You're sword fighting giant snail monsters and wolves the size of small ponies. Historical realism 1 is not necessarily really the thrust and point and purpose of the video game, and secondly, this is just one of those things where you could depict the medieval peasants as dirty and filthy, which, incidentally, they weren't all the time either. They did bathe, nor did all of them have thoroughly rotten teeth, as teeth cleanliness was also a thing that has been going on for quite some time before we invented the toothpaste that we know today, but details. This is of course intended merely as a way to dunk on just an attractive female character, as regular male sexuality must be lambasted, cursed, and through some remarkable mental gymnastics condemned. If I was a game developer and the audience for my game only consisted of gooner incels who unironically said shit like libtards, I'd kill myself personally. Like this. I adore the strident level of this as well. Like, at least the previous guy is like, are you serious? This isn't very historically accurate. Whereas the next person is like, listen, you should probably commit suicide because you've made a traditionally attractive character, which one must presume only appeals to, incel gooners? What? I am very, very frightened to ask, Eve, what you find attractive. Because one can only assume it is the exact polar opposite of this. You can tell it's gonna flop and just sit in Steam libraries. Oh yes, as we all know, video games with attractive women tend to be just enormous flops throughout. The blue check marks and chuds being like, finally a hot video game girl is hilarious, and how badly these people are buck broken and stuck in 2016. As if that's a bad thing. No, you will find the majority of us do indeed would like to return to 2016, as that was, well, the beginning at least, of and a part of the golden age of video games. Oh, well, not so much the part out of the beginning as the end of the golden age, really. This game is for dudes that don't go outside and actually talk to women. Again, this isn't exactly some kind of absurd, unattainable beauty standard either. She's a relatively regular-looking blonde woman. If anything, you could probably make her a hell of a lot more attractive than this. If you're putting her in a fantasy-esque setting, you could take away a hell of a lot more clothes and sexualize a hell of a lot more things than her toes, I presume. If anything, the very impression and image of this character is one of, well, girlish innocence. Which is why, by the way, it is drawing this much of raged attention, because she is simply just pretty. Medieval peasant girl, but with perfectly braided shiny hair. You do know they did braid their hair back in the day too, right? A mascara, blush, lip gloss, typical 2020 iPhone face. What? Skinny, but with perky double D cup, very historically accurate LMAO. What truly offends these people here isn't the character in and of itself, nor that she is attractive. What offends them is that she appears to be, well, pure, traditional, beautiful, and indeed intended to be appealing to a male audience that want more than simply to jerk off to her. That is the core reason why this is so incredibly offensive. So this is a game for men who don't go outside or talk to women, right? Because outside your door these days is nothing but a parade of OnlyFan whores. If anything, I have got to hope and assume that it is Forklift Badger here that hasn't left his house in a while. You can immediately tell it's a realistic medieval game with utterly natural, authentic beauty. Every peasant woman back then looked exactly like that and no other way. She just forgot to slip on her slippers for some reason, but oh well, beauty demands sacrifice. And the thing too is here, this is of course, as mentioned already, merely just a very thinly veiled excuse for attempting to attack the character. But every peasant woman back then looked exactly like that, no other way. They're not even making that argument. They're not pointing this out as a specific universal standard. This is one of the romanceable characters in your video game where you play a knight. Help me. We care about gaming and fun, not modern agendas, and it's the most blatant 2020s trad wife cosplay. So this, by the way, is an accusation you're going to be seeing a lot more over the next few days. In fact, we had a lovely example of this with Hassan Piker just yesterday, where he went, oh, you know, I've been fighting against far-right extremism for 10 years, and now fascism of the Labour government has banned me from the United Kingdom. There's going to be a lot more of this, of claiming that we are being political for simply just liking what we always liked, or that things that cannot in any way, as the Hassan Piker thing, be attributed to right-wing politics like classically attractive female characters are somehow an evidence of the right wing's manipulation. Ew. The fact that you think this is somehow political, a regular, attractive, modest-looking woman, really does tell us how far on the other end you've gone. Your window, your view of the world has gone so hilariously far off the chart that you view a regular-looking woman as a political statement. Medieval peasant woman that looks like a TikTok tradwife. Realistic game? My ass. She's so ugly, how hard it is to make an actually attractive female character who doesn't look like she's addicted to plastic surgery and Instagram filters. Ah yes. Now, this too is going to be the next step of this argument. Well, why don't you make a realistic looking woman? And what do we mean by realistic? Overweight, ugly, colored hair, and probably a man in a dress. Nobody really wants that, as has been made blatantly apparent as well. Or there is no need to create a medieval girl looking like a full makeup Sydney Sweeney. It's not serious, just total gag and parody and nothing more. I don't know, maybe developers want to troll MAGA gamers. This then... Okay, we've kind of run through the entire playbook here, haven't we? We've come with, listen, we just want to help. You're trying to make a realistic video game, right? Yes, absolutely. Realism is the primary focus of this game, in which you fight wyverns with a sword, no doubt about it. And we just want to help. We just want to make you sell more video games instead of looking like a $10 porn game. Listen to us. Put in lots of overweight women with rainbow-colored hair, and your sales will skyrocket. Let us turn it into a 1348 ex voto, and you too can achieve the unimaginable heights of about 300 players concurrent. Now, I guess we will have to wait and see whether or not this game does better than ex voto, but somehow I do have a sneaking suspicion it will, not just because it actually has attractive female characters in it as well, but because the developers of Knight's Path have also proven themselves to be remarkably receptive to feedback, actually making changes to gameplay and animations from the complaints levied against them by the player base, or the future one anyways. In fact, we had an example of precisely that a few years ago as well. Remember Sonic? That was first released with incredibly disgusting looking Sonic design, and the developers went, okay, that does indeed look awful. What would you like to see? They fixed it, and it went on to make 2 more movies, probably much like this game is going to do. Then we move on to, oh, well, she's just so ugly. Nobody is actually attracted to this. It's just incel Goon Slop, right? Which, again, it is merely just, it's kind of an evolution of the "you're just racist" accusation, going, listen now, you're making this for just gooners. You're making this for incel crazy people on the internet that won't actually want to play your game. They'll just want to viciously jerk off to the fully clad medieval peasant girl. Listen, if people did want to jerk off to feet, which is literally the only part of her body beyond hands and face exposed, there are other options. There are significantly more explicit options out there. And then all the way over to, of course, the fact that this is tradwife porn. Now, what is a tradwife? Of course, it is a woman in a traditional relationship carrying out a traditional female role. And this then becomes the final argument. This is political. You know what? I'm even on board with that. Fuck it, yes, this is explicitly, violently, loudly explicitly political. It is shouted from the rooftops political. It is, we just want hot women back in our video games political. It is, we'd like to have a wholesome, regular romance instead of literally a porn game romp in a video game political. This is, we want to have heroes and women to save political. If you're gonna make everything into politics, fine, let's go down that route. In fact, let's embrace it. If everything is indeed politics, this is politics. Now, please, as you yourself, left-wingers, have been viciously and violently gate-kept out of this explicitly political video game, never buy it, never enter its fandom, never comment on it ever again, and sequester yourself off into the gulags of your own creation. That would be the preferable outcome of all of this, as, no. This is not gonna bait, and it is going to sell hundreds of thousands of copies. Indeed, the video we had yesterday, for example, showed that even having the opportunity to flirt with attractive women will make a game that in other ways have a lot of woke elements in it a sales success, despite its significantly longer and more expensive development cycle. This is just about guaranteed to earn its money back in a weekend and spawn 3 more successful video games thereafter, because listening to the audience and giving the customers what they actually want tends to be a rather good idea, just as it is a wonderful idea to ignore actually mentally ill people on the internet. So, best of luck to A Knight's Path, and if nothing else, if you've got this group of people upset, that means you're gonna have everybody else who's in opposition to them, the normal people, thoroughly on your side. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.